Well, everyone wants to have the garden and yard that is the envy of the neighborhood. And every month, our friend Perry from Classic Landscapes and the Ellerslie Gift and Garden drops by with some great tips and tricks. And one of the things I think people don't realize is that there's still time to plant trees and shrubs, even though it's the fall.
Right. A lot of times, obviously, spring is the big key, and people focus on the spring. We want to get started, and everything's beautiful, and there's lots of selection. Great, we understand that. But you can actually plant right up until the snow flies. And so as long as you can dig a hole in the ground, you can be able to plant these different shrubs, perennials, whatever that might be. And so it is a good opportunity this time of year. It's a little cooler, so it's actually easier in a lot of ways to take care of the plants. Sometimes with new transplants, it's really hot outside. It can be tough to keep them watered well enough for them to overcome that transplant shock. So again, potted plants this time of year, even potted trees, it's a great idea this time of year to plant them. And again, you probably have a good month and a half still for sure.
And the price point's probably good too.
Well, there's lots of deals this time of year, and so people can definitely take advantage of that as well.
All right, now we also have, of course, fall colors that are going on and keeping our yards looking nice and seasonal. Mums, of course, are always a very familiar one.
Yeah, mums are most common this time of year, especially they're an annual, so they're not going to survive the winter, obviously, but there's very few things that are going to give you the bright color and pop like mums are this time of year, and it's really easy because they're self-contained. You can just add them to the side of the deck. Maybe you're going to have a few last garden parties to wrap up the fall here, and take advantage of the nice weather we're having. Again, decorate things up. A lot of times this time of year you see people showing homes, or they're maybe selling a house. If you want to kind of spruce it up just so it pops and shows well, you can do things like this by adding pots like mums as well. One of my favorite absolute fall plants is the dwarf winged burning bush, and it's what I have just to my right here. And it's the one that you can see is almost like a really bright maraschino cherry red. It's kind of a mid-green, kind of olivey, dark green throughout the summer. And as you can see, it's starting to convert. That whole plant will go that bright red. And it was really a showstopper. It's a great choice. Does really well in sunny locations. Super hardy for our locations. They'll grow about 4 feet tall, so they're not too large. Most yards can fit them in. I'm not quite sure if it's the same bush that Moses was talking to, but it'll look great in your yard nonetheless, and really a great choice as well.
You never know. And with that too, keeping some of the trees that we already have, some of the shrubs, cared for properly. Any pruning tips or anything like that as we go into fall? Yeah,
you might wonder why I brought these ones that are almost look like they're spent. The flowers are sort of drooping off. The petals are all. Yeah, usually Prairie brings beautiful flowers. So what's with these? And this is echinacea. You might see varieties of echinacea that are purple as well, or pinks. This one happens to be a white variety. Any kind of coneflower has a seed head, and so a couple things you can do with these. The petals will fall off. You can leave them and let them poke up through the snow. They'll offer things for winter birds in terms of feed and stuff when we talk about the seed heads. But the other thing you can actually do is if you want to prune them back, you can cut them right back to the ground and even use some of these stems. The seed heads make for interest in terms of a little bit of an arrangement or something you want to bring in and put on the center table or what have you. So you can take some advantage of that. Again, you can leave them, let them poke up through the snow for the birds, or if you want to add them to an interior decorating sort of vibe, that's super cool as well.
Perfect. And then over on this side, of course, we do have a few, especially with this front one. Of course, I think a lot of people are going to be getting into that mode too when it comes to holiday dinners and the interior decorations.
100%. And you look at this, sunflower vibe, really, big fall vibe. The kind of the feathery, long stalks that we see here, these are actually millet. So again, it's something we've pruned out of the yard. The purple sort of leaf there just above the sunflower is a smoke bush. Again, something that grows here. So you can take and create sort of these unique things that, again, are very festive, like you said, have sort of a fall vibe to them. And sunflowers themselves, while they're not developing into sunflower seeds because we've harvested them, still provide just a really cool look. And similar to the coneflower, if the petals start to fade, you can just dry the seed head. So that centerpiece, those disc florets, and they'll provide something cool in any kind of arrangement.
So I can't just cut the head off of that sunflower and just chuck it in the ground?
Well, you can actually plant some of the seeds, but not this time of year.
Okay.
Save that for the spring.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Perry, for joining us this morning, and for more great ideas on how you can keep your yard looking fall fantastic. Check out Classic Landscaping and Ellerslie Gift and Garden. They are located at 100th Street and 6th Avenue, just off of Calgary Trail and Ellerslie. And for more information, you can give them a call at 780-988-9888.